Leaks of classified information are serious, serious federal crimes for a reason. They should be investigated and, where possible, prosecuted in a way that reflects that seriousness so that people understand it simply cannot be tolerated.
Our Law and Justice segment tonight. FBI Director James Comey testified before the House Intelligence Committee yesterday. Comey's confirmation that the FBI is looking at potential links between the Trump campaign and Russia got the most media coverage. But perhaps the more interesting tidbit was Comey saying that the leaks from the intelligence community could constitute espionage. Last month, information about former National Security Advisor Mike Flynn was leaked to the press, leading to his resignation. Comey said that those behind the leaks should be investigated and, where possible, prosecuted in a way that reflects the seriousness so that people understand it simply can't be tolerated. Take a look.
I can promise you we will follow the facts wherever they lead. And I want to underscore something my friend Mike Rogers said. Leaks of classified information are serious, serious federal crimes for a reason. They should be investigated and, where possible, prosecuted in a way that reflects that seriousness so that people understand it simply cannot be tolerated.
Joining me now, former FBI agent, counterterrorism instructor, and founder of UnderstandingTheThreat.com, John Guandolo. John, thanks for being here, sir.
Well, thanks again for having me.
All right, John, you heard the FBI director. He said that it's a serious, serious crime to leak classified information. It should be fully investigated and, where possible, prosecuted. To me, when I heard this, all I could think of, John, was how is this different than what Hillary Clinton did with highly, highly classified information that she kept improperly on an insecure private email and private email server?
Well, you're, as I have accused you of before, you ask very rational and logical questions. I think the answer to that is the only difference is in mode and the actual operation of this. But essentially, you have mishandling of classified information. Now, as far as the law is concerned, there are different statutes that cover the intentional release of classified information knowingly. But the laws that Mrs. Clinton broke, the law is written in a way that it doesn't matter what your intent is. So that would be the only difference, but it's still releasing classified information.
Right, and if I'm not mistaken here, and correct me if I am mistaken, I don't think I am, James Comey, FBI Director Comey, was talking about the Espionage Act yesterday. He was talking about prosecuting people under the Espionage Act. That is also the same statute that Hillary Clinton violated, and nowhere in the Espionage Act does it say that if it was not your intent to leak or mishandle classified information, that makes you innocent of having done so.
Right. Yes, number one, it is a part of the Espionage Act, and the statutes that they were looking at with regards to Mrs. Clinton, the Espionage Act applies. But no, there's no requirement. As a matter of fact, when Director Comey gave his public, if you will, rollout of that case, he literally, as you and I talked about on this show, he articulated that she had violated the law and then said, but we're not going to prosecute her. In other words, he laid out the elements of the violation, and there is no requirement under that statute that you have to have a malevolent intent. It's just that you did it.
Right, and like I said, I defer to you here because you're the FBI expert. I'm not here. I'm trying to understand Comey's train of thought here, trying to follow what his logic is, because perhaps there's something I'm missing. I don't see it. I'm looking for what I'm missing here, because it seems to me that it comes down to the question, did the leaking of classified information, did it endanger national security, or could it potentially have endangered national security? And if the answer to either of those questions is no, why do we even classify information?
Right. Obviously, if we're comparing the two, what Mrs. Clinton did is devastating. The other thing I want to note is the FBI did say, and other sources said, that there was no doubt that she carried that classified information, those devices, into foreign countries where there is no doubt that foreign intelligence agencies gained that information, obtained that information, which that's not unusual. That's just them doing what they do. I don't consider that something we should be surprised at. I'm surprised that Mrs. Clinton wasn't charged. And there's a bigger piece to this too. The monies that, and this is something that we've written about and I've spoken about, is that when you receive monies from foreign governments through, in this case, the Clinton Foundation, and then you go to some of those countries using devices that you know that their intelligence agencies are going to be able to get information from. My question is there a quid pro quo there? Was she literally, through a third party, being the Clinton Foundation, selling secrets to foreign governments? I'm just asking the question. I'm not making an accusation.
No, it's a question. It's a question that needs to be answered. It's shocking that people on both sides of the aisle aren't calling for an investigation into it. It's been so highly politicized. John, it's mind-boggling, but you're absolutely right. Going back to what you said about just traveling to foreign nations with these devices that are insecure, obviously we expect, even someone with no security clearance, such as myself, expects that to happen. That's common knowledge. Certainly someone, the Secretary of State of the United States of America, Mrs. Clinton, served as a senator. She has the highest form of security clearance. She knows the risks. That's not something she's ignorant of. She knows the risks. John, let me pivot just for 1 second. I want to ask you this because you served in the FBI, because you have experience here, before we run out of time. In that same hearing yesterday, James Comey said that he had no information to support President Trump's tweets that alleged that there was wiretapping against Trump Tower by the Obama administration. Like I said, you worked for the FBI. Is this, in your opinion, semantics on the part of the FBI director to try to get around this? Is there classified information that he can't share? Or were President Trump's tweets just incorrect?
Well, we still don't know. It certainly seems like there's a possibility that what Mr. Trump said isn't accurate. But so the first thing is the director may have to play. I'm not sure I would use the word semantics, but if there is a target of an investigation and in a specific time frame he were to acknowledge it, that might give up the identity of the target. So from that perspective, while I do not believe this director is doing a very good job, he's also, it is a very difficult job.
Right.
And I do believe that I don't understand why Mrs. Clinton wasn't charged and why he's very aggressive in this, because there are significant security concerns, but you also have a foreign power involved, and there is, based on my experience, more going on than the American people understands, and probably more at risk than the American people understand. So I think
that was made very clear, I think, in the hearing yesterday when they talked about it being an open forum versus classified information, and that there were some topics that simply could not be discussed. Either no comment or just couldn't be answered whatsoever. John, I appreciate you coming on the show. I appreciate your insight. I hope to talk to you again soon.
Hey, thank you for watching. Subscribe to our YouTube channel right down here if you're not already subscribed. If you want to see more of our UTT videos, just click here or here and sign up for our newsletter and join us. Let's put freedom back on the offensive where it belongs.